Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly come before Thee this evening as we begin this council meeting. We humbly pray for Thy Spirit to be with us here this night as the council undertakes discussions and actions on various matters that are important to our community and to our citizens and our businesses. We are thankful, Father, for Thy continued blessings upon the community of Pinetop-Lakeside. As we have coming out of the pandemic, we are grateful that health and strength is returning and that the number of people that are still getting sick, that those numbers are going down. We pray for those that have been sick and that may currently be ill at this time, that Thou bless them, that health and strength will return to each of them and that they will be blessed in their infirmities. Thankful to live in such a beautiful community, and we pray for moisture upon this forest and upon this land. It is so badly needed due to the stress in our forests and on the animals, and we pray that our reservoirs and lakes and streams will be able to be filled again. We are grateful, though, for the work that is coming and being done and accomplished in this community and in the town, and we pray for a special blessing upon all of our employees, upon our police department, that each will be blessed in their work as we continue to engage with our citizens and to meet their needs. We're thankful for these things and pray again for Thy Spirit to be with us and to guide the decisions that will be made this night. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you, Keith. Item B on our agenda is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up in call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. The council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda will not be heard and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. I have no cards, is that right, Joe? Okay, thank you. Moving on then to item C is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of council requests that items be removed for discussion. Council members, however, may ask questions at any time, and items removed are considered in their normal sequence. We have 2 items on our consent agenda, and I thought maybe the gentleman for Pinetop Water might be here, but I don't see them tonight. So I was going to introduce them. Anyway, we appreciate people offering to serve on these committees. And then,
I can make
Mr.
a
Mayor?
motion. Yeah, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item, either before or after council discussion. Questions from council, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is the Week of the Young Child Proclamation. Whereas the First Things First Navajo Apache Regional Partnership Council and local partner organizations, in conjunction with the National Association for the Education of Young Children, will be celebrating the Week of the Young Child, April 10th through the 16th, 2021. And whereas these organizations are working to improve early learning opportunities, which are crucial to the growth and development of young children, and building a foundation of learning for everyone in Navajo and Apache counties. And whereas all young children and their families in the state of Arizona and Navajo and Apache counties deserve access to high-quality early childhood education, and whereas public policies and programs that support early learning for all young children are critical to young children's futures and the success of our community. And whereas teachers and others who make a difference in the lives of young children and families in Navajo and Apache counties in Arizona deserve thanks and recognition. Now, therefore, I, Stephanie Irwin, Mayor of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside, do hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through the 16th, 2021, as Week of the Young Child in Navajo and Apache counties, and encourage all community partners to work together to make good investments in early childhood health and development. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona, done at the Town Hall of Pinetop-Lakeside this 15th day of April 2021. And we have Allison Hepner here to take this proclamation. She's representing First Things First. I just want to say really briefly that Keith and I have had the opportunity to be involved in a countywide health assessment, and we've gotten a lot of really good updates, and I'm just amazed by everything that Allison and her team are doing to help make our county and our communities better. So, do you want to say anything?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and staff, just thank you for supporting this. It's very important. We are a community of families, and it's just, we appreciate you, and as an advocate for First Things First and young children, I just appreciate the partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Item D2 on our agenda is a presentation and recognition from the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee, our MIAC group, and Milena Spillman will be leading this. I'd like to invite you to come on up. All of you guys come up.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Thank you for having us. As part of our MIAC, our Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee, every April we are supposed to do a presentation for Council so you guys know what we've been up to. Unfortunately, this year has been very different, as everybody knows. So these awesome young kids have not been able to do as many things as they normally do. But they have prepared a little presentation for you, and I will hand it over to our chairwoman, Rebecca James, and then we'll have Rebecca especially stay up here afterwards. But I'll hand it over to them, and they can go through the presentation and let you know what they've been up to.
Okay, so
You can pull that down if you need
to. Not that tall yet. Well, like she said, we are the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee, and so basically this is just a slideshow that we made. I think it's also one of your things of our future goals and projects and our current projects. Oh my gosh, I don't have my glasses on.
You should be able to just click it. Yep, there you go.
Okay. Okay, for those of you who don't know what Project Radar is, it's an anti-bullying app. And we planned to launch this campaign last year, although we weren't able to obviously complete it because of COVID, and we're gonna have to table this project to a future date because of we can't meet during assemblies and such. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So one of the things that we have focused on this year is mental health, and with the help of the counselor at the junior high, Becky Montoya. And so one of the things we've done is the QPR training, which is about suicide prevention. And so it kind of taught, most of our members have gone through the training, and they you get to learn just how to talk to someone who may be suicidal and just kind of signs and signals and how to help them and just going through that. And we've just thought that that was a really important thing, especially with the spike in suicide over the pandemic. And so, yeah, that was one of the things. And then we helped with the town Easter egg hunt. We had the Easter Bunny, which was Annalise. And then, yes. And then I believe there were also unicorns there. And we always have a lot of fun helping you guys host the Easter egg hunt. So, yes, we look forward to that.
Okay, so with the obvious issue of mental health being a huge concern over this past year, our current project is comfort kits. If you don't know what that is, basically it's a kit consisting of an anonymous letter that could help comfort someone who may be going through depression and trauma at the moment. And they have blankets and all sorts of stuff, and we've been helping organize those with Counselor Mrs. Montoya at the Blue Ridge High School and junior high. And that's what we've been working on. And you see that's a picture of Dumbo. That was on a comfort letter.
Okay, so something that we have just recently decided to start, and we actually did it for the first time today, is we decided to help out by volunteering our time at lunch at the senior center once a month on theoretically the day that we have our meeting, and then if that doesn't work out, then the following week on Thursday. And so one of the things that we've talked about in the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee is bridging the gap between the youth and kind of like the seniors in our community, and we've we've kind of noticed how there's like that separation, and we've just been trying to find ways to bring them together, and we figured that this was a great way to do that because we would get to go and just directly visit with them and get to know them. So yeah.
Potential projects.
Oh no. Oh no, I don't know how to go back. Okay, well,
Can you go back?
no.
I can't even see.
Oh, there's a back. It's the second one down.
Sorry.
My bad.
We'll exit and we'll go to the right one here.
It's that one. Yeah, 7.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay. So we've been talking about kind of potential projects that we could do for Maya going forward through this year, and since it's kind of ending into next year. And so one of the things we talked about is extending, kind of taking the landscaping that was wonderfully done at Jack Barker Park and kind of extending it in front of the school and kind of just helping to beautify that whole like section of the highway. And then another thing we thought of was going to one of the local hospice centers and granting last wishes. And so we don't have like a solid process. It's just kind of a theoretical idea, but basically just like one person at a time, picking like an attainable last wish and then fundraising for it, making it happen, and then moving on to the next one.
And another potential project we have is beautifying Pinetop. So we're going to help assist businesses they could provide the supplies and stuff and the funds, and we would help beautify the landscapes of their businesses and their locations of their businesses.
Okay. And then, so we've recently gotten a lot of new members, and so we just wanted to kind of introduce you to us. So this has all of our pictures. I mean, most of us are right here, but also it has our names. So I am Becca James. I'm the chairwoman, and this is Landon Rigg. He is the vice chairman. And then Shayla Grzelek is our secretary, and then Quentin Lawler, our treasurer. Oh, and then we have our historian, Anna Good, and then Parker Rigg, and and Brindy Blake. So, yeah, and that concludes our presentation.
Thank you guys for everything you do. I was at the senior center today for lunch, and those people were so excited to see your young faces. I think they really, really enjoyed it. So that was a great thing that you were able to do. I think only 3 of you were there today, but that's a great start, so that was a good thing. Rebecca, as you are graduating, moving on, would you please just tell us a little bit about what your plans are?
Sure. Did not know I needed. Okay. So I'm planning to go to Arizona State University in the fall and major in nonprofit leadership and management. And then I want to go on to start a nonprofit business that helps homeless people like get back on their feet and kind of restart their lives. So like training them in like how to get a job and how to work finances and like help with their family, or if they have like an addiction, then help with that. Kind of just go to the root of whatever is making them homeless and just help them with that. And then there's this like new theory, relatively new theory called like housing first, where you give them like a home, and so they can like live, they can just have that stability of having a home. And so I plan to use that and just give them homes and then help them. Yeah, that is
It's amazing. We look forward to wonderful things from you. I have enjoyed working with you, so wish you well.
Thank you.
I know you have.
I do. I'm going to sneak by you. Okay. So I just wanted to add a couple little things real quick. We had Brindy's picture up there, so I'm so sorry, Brindy, but everybody can see her beautiful smiling face. But I've had the pleasure of working with Rebecca for all 4 years of high school. So it's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm really excited to see what she does. And as you guys can see from the presentation, is we do have an amazing group of young people in our community. This is just a small representation of that. And the aspirations and the goals that they have, you know, it's been a little bit of a challenge this year to try to accomplish those, but they've stuck with it, and I'm really proud of them. They're an awesome group of kids, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. So thank you all for your time, and have a wonderful evening. I do. I have this for Rebecca. So this is a plaque from all of us, and it says, "In grateful recognition to Rebecca James for your dedication and service to the town of Pinetop-Lakeside Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, awarded this 15th day of April 2021, signed by Stephanie Irwin, Mayor of Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, and Keith Johnson, Town Manager." Thanks. So, thank you.
And I would also, and as I've said before, without the support of Mom and Dad sitting over there in the front row, this young lady wouldn't be where she is today, so it's a testament to you guys as well. So we look forward to great things. Anyway.
And Barbara wants to take a picture of us for the paper.
Sure.
We just want to line up right in front of the dais real quick.
Okay, item D3 on our agenda is consider accepting resolution number 21-1575 and the intergovernmental agreement regarding the Northeastern Arizona Law Enforcement Training Academy and the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This agreement is between the Navajo County Community School District and the town. The purpose of this agreement is for the Northeastern Arizona Police Academy to provide quality education to students who qualify for sponsors through law enforcement agencies, and they provide them with the standards that Arizona Post has out there for academy classes. During the last, go back, 4 of our current employees that we have actually graduated from this academy, and we continue to support that academy, and we provide them with instructors and advisors. So we're glad they're there. We're there to support them, and they're there to support us and all the other law enforcement agencies in the area. Some of the financial costs that will be involved with this agreement is we would have occasional overtime for officers that are providing instruction and advisory stuff at the academy, depending on the schedules. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Yes.
Chief, how many how many officers do instruction and things up there? Just curious.
I'm sorry, what was
How
that?
many from the department actually do instruction there or assist up there?
It depends on our staffing. During this academy class, we've had several. The previous class, we had several go out as well and help out. So doing instruction, doing different types of drills, firearms, stuff like that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Councilor Buse.
I move that we accept resolution number 21-1575 and the intergovernmental agreement regarding the Northeastern Arizona Law Enforcement Training Academy in the town of Pinetop-Lakeside.
Thank you. Thank you, Maisie. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 21-1575. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Item D4, information and public hearing, and consider accepting ordinance number 21-440 regarding zoning application Z-082, requesting a zoning map amendment from RLO Rural Residential to RVP Recreational Vehicle Park Zoning, rezoning a portion of APN 212-01-036K totaling 6.2 acres. Properties accessed from White Mountain Boulevard, Lakeside, Arizona in Section 16, Township 9 North, Range 22 East, Navajo County. Cody.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Excuse me. So before you tonight, as the Mayor stated, we have a rezone request for 6.2 acres to recreational vehicle park zoning. The current zoning on it is RLO residential, which is a 1 acre minimum zoning. So if you reference your packet, it kind of gives you a history of this project over the last couple of years. This project originally started in September of 2019 when we received the first application from that. Since then, it's gone several iterations and adjustments and changes based on public comment and concerns with the proposal, from access to density to buffering. The developer has tried to address many of the concerns of those that are going to live close to this project. Some of the concerns that have been raised were lighting, which we have a lighting ordinance that will address those issues. Traffic, they went ahead and did a traffic study even though it wasn't required at this stage. And the traffic study was for phase 1, which is what this is, of a 73 unit. It actually did it for 86 units, and the traffic study came back stating that there was no need for a traffic light at this time, and based on that 83 or 86 unit phase at this point. One of the complaints we've heard a lot about is clear cutting the trees. We have a tree ordinance in the town. Under our site plan review, they are required to keep as many trees of the natural trees as they possibly can. We also have a landscaping ordinance which requires them to plant more trees to beautify the project. Another one is Firewise. We also have a Firewise ordinance that requires them to maintain a safe Firewise project through taking out dead trees and ladder fuels and that type of thing. So buffering was a big one, buffering between the project and the citizens that live off of Valerie Lane. It started off with no buffering, then went to 100 feet buffering, and then eventually went to 150 feet buffering. One of the pictures over here on the wall, they went out and placed a 30-foot red banner up in the forest 150 feet back, just to kind of, what does it look like? How visible is it going to be? If you go over there and look at it, she put it up on the screen there so you can see it a little bit. it's barely visible. From there, most of the RVs aren't going to be red, but we did that for dramatics to try and point out or demonstrate that the visibility is going to be low. So the developers tried to address all the concerns, and some of the concerns are not addressable. Some of them he can't address. But he's got a project that we as a town or staff feel is a quality project, a quality RV development that will provide a benefit to the town. It'll provide a needed resource in the town, as we don't have any real RV park in town. It'll give those traveling through town a place to stay. Instead of going up to Honda or out into the forest, they can now stay someplace closer. It will provide additional revenue to the town through sales tax revenue. So there is a benefit to that, which will help provide for roads and better police service and those types of things as well. There was one more thing I was going to say and I just lost it. But we really do feel like he's tried to do everything he can to address these issues. One of the other issues that was raised or concerns was that it would be the first thing that people would see when they drive into town. And the question was asked, is this the image you want people to see? And it won't be visible from the highway. It's 700 feet off of the highway and will be eventually behind a commercial project. It won't be the first thing that people see when they come into town. In fact, it's about 1,400 feet from Camp Tadier and over 2,000 feet away from Mountain Gate community. So there's some good buffering from those uses there. So with that, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Cody. Any questions? Would you like to speak to us, James?
Hello, Madam Mayor, Vice President, Council. Glad to be here. Appreciate you having me. My name is James Gatmeyer, and I'm here to represent GJR Properties for the rezoning. I believe all of you here have seen this and seen it change and seen all the changes with it. The first phase didn't even require a decel lane, but we are putting in a decel lane. There's been some comments about congestion on the Road 260 and where, if there's multiple units coming in at one time, where would they be? Well, the decel lane, I believe, is 300 feet, and then there's 700 feet of entrance to the RV park. So we have a long driveway coming in. So that was one of the concerns I heard at planning and zoning, that I don't know if it, particularly got out there, is how long of a decel end entrance we do have. But I would love to answer any other additional questions that you guys may have. The project's been downsized just to make sure that it works. We don't want to touch any of the forest that we don't have to, and I think we're touching very little of it compared to our low zoning, which would take a lot of streets and bigger area. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. This is a public hearing, so individuals who'd like to speak, if you'd fill out a card, please. And I would just like to remind everybody that wants to talk tonight that this council has attended, we get all the minutes from the planning and zoning meetings. We attended a community meeting, and we've all toured the property. So I think we are pretty well aware of some of the concerns you have. So I would like for you to remember that when you speak tonight, and don't continue voicing those same objections, because we have heard you loud and clear, and we appreciate that. So the first person who would like to speak tonight is Rob Ingalls.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I came tonight hoping again to maybe see the quality in a project like this coming in, and some maybe experience that our staff or the developer has had in other areas, specifically the developer in both designing, creating, and managing a RV park. I do own property that's on Cholo Lake Road, and some of the concerns that I personally have are the ingress-egress from Cholo Lake Road, which I will comment Matt Patterson and the Public Works Department did an incredible job of upgrading the Cholo Lake Road that is in the proximity of this. But the concern of the center lane being used for merging and the backup and the flow of traffic, I respect that the May 2020 traffic study was done and they have exceeded those requirements, but I am concerned about safety there. So few other things that I have been uncomfortable with is that the DOR that the U.S. Forest Service compiled for this land exchange to go through was predominantly trusting the town zoning ordinances and our general plan to guide future development, implying that the expectation was it would be relatively similar to the existing use on that property and the surrounding area. So even as a motion might get made tonight, perhaps to rezone this, it seemed that there might be some room for some conditions in the rezoning that would allow continued public input. I appreciate the opportunity tonight to address you as has occurred in the past, but I do have some concerns that when new development comes into our town, it's nice to see the amenities beyond sales tax revenue that are provided for the existing citizens. Some of us have concerns that traffic is getting worse all the time, and if there is maybe opportunities for additional in-town activities that we don't presently have as citizens, and new developments brings those to us, that would be additional benefit to our community. I just know that if I heard discussion regarding how a rezoning like this is compliant, it adheres to our general plan, and it is adhering to the Forest Service land exchange agreements, I would be more comforted. I've seen 2 40-acre parcels go into commercial zoning. I've seen the 20 acres go into the CR zoning. I understand the reasons on the CR, but I'm with 40 acres of just C1 on vacant land and the access coming out, like I say, right near the Cholo Lake Road, there are concerns. So as I sit tonight, I'll be listening in, and I appreciate an opportunity to address you. And I'm just thinking of the safety and the community good that comes from the work when we can rezone things. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Mary Ellen Biddorf.
Madam Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I haven't been here in quite a long time. I'm not against development in Pinetop-Lakeside. I think it's healthy, and I think it will improve our town. I am against overdevelopment, and I think this is a perfect example of what that is. I live on an acre of land in Pinetop-Lakeside. The thought of 10 luxury, beautiful RVs on that land turns my stomach. It's too much. I would ask, what is your idea about open space? How do you define it? Because I had a lengthy conversation the other day with a council member that said, you're really going to try to save trees. There is no way you're going to save many trees with that many RVs on an acre. And so I think you need to remember you are the future of this town. What you do, what you decide is going to be what we see and live with in this town in 10 years or 20 years. And so you have to decide, who are you going to listen to? The people that live here, or the developer who often sees only dollar signs. And so again, I'm not against development. I'm against what I see here. If you truly want to save some of the trees, then you're going to have to really lower the density of this development. If you did that, you'd do a favor to all the people around here, make it safer, and consider your neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Anybody else? Lon Hoffman.
What time's the clock start?
The mic up so we can hear you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. I'm confident all of you have had taken the time to review the application, staff recommendations, and the planning and zoning minutes. How many of us have had a friend, bless you, how many of us have had a friend or a relative with an RV wishing to spend a few days only to be turned away and sent elsewhere? How much revenue is lost from the RVer the town of Pinetop-Lakeside turns away? And we as a town say, visit Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona's recreation destination. Tourism is the only industry in Pinetop-Lakeside driving sales tax revenue. Residents of the town, bless you, residents of the town expect a certain level of services: roads, police, parks, trails, libraries, a visitor center, and more. All of the aforementioned services are supported by sales tax revenue collected from businesses within Pinetop-Lakeside. When a business or a developer shows interest in Pinetop-Lakeside, a business or a developer who can provide additional sales tax to the town, here comes the opposition. Ironically, the same people expecting that level of services. Most of these same people have been provided the opportunity to live here by a developer. The elephant in the room, once again, is the threat of referendum. We hear it. Here's a few facts. Most recently, 36 acres, 1,076 feet of highway frontage from the Family Fun Park to Camp Tadier recently received a rezone from Arlo to C1 commercial. The Lions Foundation, who owns the property Camp Tadier leases and occupies, received a rezone to C1 commercial. The Lions Foundation supports this zoning change request before you and has since the beginning. Camp Grace just recently received a rezone to CR commercial. Tadier and Grace are now commercial operations. Tadier operates Airbnbs per the minutes of the March 25th Planning and Zoning meeting. Grace, unbeknownst to Planning and Zoning and Council during their zoning request, now advertises a large wedding venue that can accommodate up to 400 guests and retail shops coming soon. Hey, more power to them. Tadier and Grace received their requested zoning changes. I wish them the best of luck. However, Tadier and Grace strongly oppose the zoning change request before you and have since day one. Maybe not at this meeting tonight, but they have in past meetings. And they've done it with meetings, websites, social media, and a barrage of misinformation. They've pounded on this developer and his request for this zoning change. Hypocritical, to say the least. Returning to the elephant in the room, the threat of referendum. Accompanying the threat is the opposition's constant statement to the ease of obtaining signatures on a petition. The simple steps to obtain a signature on a referendum petition are: number one, misinformation; number two, lack of information; number three, emotion; number four, and intimidation. Add to that a local newspaper that only reports a portion of the facts. There are no winners in the threat of referendum. With actions come consequences. The threats, again, have blackened the eye of Pinetop-Lakeside from an economic development standpoint. Businesses and developers pay close attention to the climate within a community prior to investing. Town staff has done a tremendous job in assisting and retaining this developer. This developer has done everything within his capacity to address the concerns of the citizens and neighboring property owners, many of whom are just that, neighbors, not residents of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no more requests to speak tonight, so I will go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for council discussion. Council discussion. Keith, did you have anything to add?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Motion? Councilor Watson.
Thanks, Mayor, and thank you those who have addressed us this evening and those who have addressed us previously. I did read through various minutes and gathered information on concerns as well as information on activities and changes that the developer has made to try and address those concerns. We all have our biases, right? I come from a background of government. In fact, many of you know me for many years. And more recently, I've had a background of economic development, working for Navajo County in trying to promote this area for new development, new growth. What are the reasons for that? Well, the reasons are that you need a strong economy, not only to support you currently, but to support future generations. While we all would love to have our children be able to stay here and raise their families here, as many of us had that opportunity to do so, those challenges are continue to be strong challenges in rural areas. Fortunately, there are some changes taking place with the pandemic that people are learning to do work remotely, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Long story short, I look at this and I also look at my understanding of community planning and zoning. And typically when you have a major thoroughfare going through a community, nobody really wants to live on an acre lot on the highway, right? You typically have your commercial development, and then you do transitional zoning from commercial back to the residential, and you go from commercial to maybe high density residential and then on to your low density. So in my opinion, this project meets those objectives from, again, the idea of economic development. Typically 90% of new businesses and new residents starts with a visit. And so being a tourist-related economy, the more opportunities that we can provide for visitors to come and enjoy what we enjoy, the better the opportunity for them to eventually become a community member and a business owner and potentially an employer to hire some of those people that we would desire to stay here rather than leave the mountain. So long story short, for those reasons and for the things that I've seen accomplished by this particular developer, and the demand for recreational vehicles to have a place to stay and to bring their families. I also look at this from the standpoint of the neighboring properties, the camps. And my assumption is that if a kid is coming up to a camp for a week, there may be a good opportunity for his parents to come in their RV and stay here while that youth participates in that camp. So all of those things have helped guide me in my decision-making process to say that while I'm mindful and sensitive to the concerns that are brought forward, I do believe that this project is of benefit to the community of Pinetop-Lakeside.
Well said, Councilor Watson. Anybody else? Did you have questions? I too believe that, as you can see from the timeline, a lot of the concerns of the neighbors have been addressed. The development has been scaled back, and those things have been taken into consideration. As somebody who used to have an RV many years ago, we traveled to, one place we went was Estes Park, Colorado, and we stayed in a really nice RV park, and there were trees right there, and the most desirable spots were underneath the trees. So I see the value, and Mr. Gatmeyer has stated that, in maintaining as many trees as possible so that people have a great experience when they come visit this. And I too believe that the greater good will be served to the business community. It's not just the town revenues as a governmental entity I'm looking at. It's all of our small businesses that are going to be benefiting from something like this. You know, all of our restaurants, our grocery stores, anything you can think of in town will benefit from having more people come in and visit. So I too believe that this project is going to be of a benefit to the entire community.
Motion?
Absolutely. Councilor Schnitzer?
I move to approve zone change request Z-082 rezoning 6.2 acres of APNs 212-01-036K from R low rural residential to RVP recreational vehicle park zoning district.
I second that.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Before we take a vote on that, I don't know if you noted the staff recommendations on here referring to recommendations of the developer maintaining as many of the trees, development prohibited from allowing permanent residence and no longer than 9 months. I don't know if you wanted that to be part of your...
I would like to amend my motion to say subject to the staff recommendations being implemented.
Thank you. Councilor Buse, is that all right? Change that motion. Okay. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 21-440 with staff recommendations. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D5 then. Consider accepting ordinance number 21-441, amending ordinance number 16-395, and extending the 2% additional tax on restaurants and bars. Kevin.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The subject of this matter is the additional tax on restaurants and bars. As you know, everybody has a general tax in certain categories. So we have a 3% tax on restaurant and bars. We also have a 2% additional tax on restaurant and bars that we use to help maintain our parks. This tax was originally passed, the 2% tax was originally passed in 2003, and it has been renewed every 5 years since that time. So the last time this tax was renewed was in 2016. And what we are asking for tonight is your consideration to renew this tax again, but we would like to take off the 5-year sunset clause that has been with this tax ever since it was starting to renew. So it would just continue indefinitely and lessen until repealed. Are there any questions on this?
Thank you. Any questions? Hey, Matt, can you just tell us a little bit of what this tax is paid for in the recent history, briefly?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excuse me. The restaurant and bar tax that pays for parks pays for everything that entails with parks except for salaries. And right now, this pays for equipment, the utilities, just surprisingly to most people, the utilities at our two parks are over $80,000. So that's a big chunk of the tax itself. It also pays for all the improvements. So if you look at Mountain Meadow to start, we've rebuilt the bathrooms, that pays for that. It pays for the lighting that needed to be increased on the soccer fields. But right now, the biggest concern has been woodland, and right now this tax is paying to help do the logging operation that's over there, the rebuilding of the path, and also the improvements to the tennis courts and basketball courts. Without this tax, we couldn't afford our parks the way it is right now. We just don't have the funds to pay for it, and that's why I think it was originally created, was so that we could maintain parks and actually have nice features for the citizens of Pinetop-Lakeside. I would say that's the overall purpose of this tax.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions, comments, motions? Councilor Craigbaum.
I would like to make the motion. I move to adopt ordinance number 21-441, amending ordinance number 16-395, and extending the 2% additional tax on restaurants and bars.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 21-441. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Matt, please keep up the good work. Our parks are looking amazing. Okay, item D6 on our agenda tonight is reports from council committee liaisons and the town manager. I think we'll start down here with Councilor Snitzer.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep it very brief. Tracks is up and running. We've started our trail work. And the trails are not in bad shape, which is good and bad news. We haven't had enough of a winter to really affect the trails that much, but we've also got a program of a more scientific approach, which is actually, there's a lot of science on trails. And so some of our trails that we did last year have held up very well just because of changes we've made to the way we maintain trails. And then at the Nature Center, a couple of things are going on. We're planning on having a year this year. That's subject to change depending on what the COVID rules are, but we're starting to slot in some of our Saturday programs. Not every Saturday, but more like every other Saturday. We will have a carnival. Again, the rules are still open yet. We don't know. We may be limited to the number of people that can be on the carnival grounds, but we're planning on having a Memorial Day carnival, and that'll be, I think everybody's ready for things like that. The Nature Center also has just received our device, I'll call it, a digitarium. And it's a planetarium. There's a dome that's inflated, and then inside an unbelievably sophisticated computer-driven projector. This was an $80,000 grant. It is a portable unit, so we will have the ability to make it available to other communities up here on the mountain. It has, a normal planetarium has one show. You can say, hey, I was there last year, I saw it. This, because it's a computer-driven device, it has an unlimited number of programs it can put on. A traditional planetarium show or a trip to the moon, complete with NASA photographic footage of the moon, and as though you were traveling around on the moon. We've got to go through, we've got to read the manual and go through some training and train the trainer training, and then we'll be in a position to start exposing it to the community. So we're really excited to have something like that in our town. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Snitzer. Councilor Watson?
I prepared about a 30-minute report if you, no, I'm just kidding.
Make it an hour.
I have nothing for this meeting.
Okay. Yes, I'd report on the transit. That's our little bus system, the Four Seasons that you see all around. You would be amazed at how many people ride the bus. Normally, about 15,000 a month. And that is a lot of people that use that service. We get a grant from the government, from the state, to help us finance this, and they typically pay about 80% of our cost. So the balance of that comes to us. I would say that right now our ridership is down a little bit. It's about 8,000 a month. It's starting to pick up, though, and we're encouraged by that because people are starting to get out again, whereas they were not before. So just for your edification, we typically pay just under $100,000 a year is Pinetop-Lakeside's a portion of that operating cost. We have gotten a grant from the state last year that they waived that entire amount. So that helped us a lot last year when revenues were suffering. This year will probably be, instead of being at the full $93,000 for the town, will probably be a little less than that because we still have some money left over, probably about $15,000 or so. So our budget will be 75 or 80,000 instead of 100. But the transit is up and going, and it's encouraging to see it so successful. It is the poster child for the state. Anytime people in the rural communities want to talk about having a bus system, they say, well, go to Show and Pinetop-Lakeside and take a look at their bus system because it is very successful. So we're proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilor Hastings?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to report on the Senior Center. We're beginning a program on May the 2nd, brand new for our community and brand new for the Senior Center. We received a $10,000 grant to give us a start. It's called Food for Families, and it includes giving a free box of food, about 30 pounds. Includes milk, eggs, vegetables, fresh fruit. It's a fantastic project. We know that we have the need, and we're starting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a woman who's had extensive experience in Tucson with running food banks like this project. We had a group called Recovery Works. They came in and put in shelving for our supplies. We bought 2 new freezers. We were going great with that, and then we had a small catastrophe, which turned out to be a big catastrophe with our water system, and we've lost $5,000 to replace the water system. However, it did not stop the other group, which are called late bloomers. The late bloomers are interested in gardening. We have supplied already 2 raised beds that's handicapped accessible right up to the waist. For individuals to come and plant whatever they like. If they want to put in veggies that go to the cook and the Senior Center, that's great. If they want to grow it for themselves, that's fine too. It's $20 membership, and the Senior Committee is the only requirement that they join the Senior Center and partake of, what they'd like to do. The late bloomers, the plans are into a grant, which we're looking at from AARP. We think we have a really good opportunity to get a grant for this project. We have our fingers crossed. Our director, Megan, is wonderful at getting grants, and we've submitted a $45,000 request. We don't expect the whole amount, but we're very positive in our thinking about it. It would have a gazebo, a memory garden, a rose garden, nature paths, a watering system put in. We need fencing. We're getting some of the fencing's already being donated by one of the companies here in the area. And we're going to get a water system up. We had lunch today with the wonderful students from Blue Ridge. Our patrons, our customers really were excited to see the young people. They were very chatty, and we saw the results of a congregate meal served. The other 50% beyond the meal, which is only $6, Beyond that, it's the sociability. And they visited until about 2:30, and they were playing cards and having a good time. It was a lovely day, and I really appreciated the young people, and we have them already on the calendar in May to come back and have another visit. And that's my report for the Senior Center.
Thank you. Councilor Buse?
Just quickly, Blue Ridge schools are back to in-person, although they are allowing those who want to continue online can do that, and graduation is set for May 21st. High school.
Thank you. Councilor Craigbaum?
Unfortunately, I would report that the Forest Health Committee has still not met, and I'm hoping that maybe Cody can start some interest over there so that we could meet with the fire department. The Save Our Park is looking forward to walking around the Woodland Lake tract that the Forest Service wants to sell us, and we want to purchase, perhaps, that the council approved last meeting. Natural Resources Working Group and Forfry both still meet by Zoom, and I have attended those, and they're just regular meetings. I don't have anything really interesting to report on either one of those. And I'm back working on tracks every Monday morning and loving that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to remind everybody that the Blue Ridge Scholarship Fund is having its annual golf tournament on May 1st at White Mountain Country Club. So if anybody's interested in golfing, applications are available on our website, or you can call me and we can get you signed up. We're looking for sponsors for holes, and other raffle prizes are always welcomed. As I said earlier, Keith and I have been attending the Community Health Needs Assessment and the Community Health Improvement Plan meetings. We are going to bring some of those things to the council in the future. It's really amazing what this group of people, when you have a team working on such things to address things like poverty, homelessness, food insecurities, child abuse. I mean, it just goes, it's incredible, all the things that we really need to work on in our communities. And we will be reporting more on that in the future. Allison Hepner is leading that and is extremely motivated and very dynamic in her leadership there. So we'll look forward to bringing that to you. Keith.
There it is. Didn't have my glasses on. Where'd it go? We have, the mayor and Kevin and I walked over at Woodland Lake Park the other day. We got to see the logging operation that's going on there, and it's just been exciting to see and neat to see the work that's going on. And it's not just that. I listed all of the things that are going on at Woodland Lake Park right now. I've sent that out to each of you. I sent an email to a donor that their family gave a significant amount of money. I'm getting ready to send that same email or similar email out to the donors that helped us to have the full amount to purchase the park, highlighting for them so that they know that their investments in our community are not lying fallow, and that there is a tremendous amount of work going on in Woodland Lake Park between dredging the lake, the new trail that Councilor Craigbaum just mentioned, preserving the health of the forest through this logging operation, repairs to the boat dock, anticipated repairs to the boat ramp, shoring up the dam, the playground equipment, the bathrooms. I mean, we've always said that the Woodland Lake Park is the crown jewel of this park, and it's getting a good shining right now. And it is, with the work that's going on right now, it will help this park to be able to continue to be enjoyed by our community for generations. So I'm grateful for all the work that our Public Works Department is putting into that. And Matt hasn't spent as much time in the office as he should, because he's been out there getting his hands dirty.
Big equipment.
Yeah. There's more fun than a computer terminal. and keypad. The other thing, just to let you know, we've issued a challenge to our employees to participate in the Seuss Crew Breast Cancer Awareness Walk. You're certainly invited to participate. You don't have to walk the full 30 miles. I'm hoping that I can make it this time. I haven't gotten ready, and we only have a month. We're going to have a special T-shirt for all of our team. So if you want to, you can walk 5 miles, you can walk 1 mile, you can walk 30 miles. You get a T-shirt. But you got to get there and help send us off at least. Chili cook-off, is that May 22nd? May 8th, okay. I don't have it on my calendar, sorry. I was just looking. May the 8th, we're looking forward to a chili cook-off. And then the Balloon Festival, Tony received word today, I believe it was today, a TV show called Wild Travels is going to come and do some filming of our hot air balloon event. And so this could help get it some additional interest and viewership and maybe bring more people out. We're really excited to have that type of recognition. You know, we were talking about the balloon event today, and you know, there's going to be 2 nights of a balloon glow. Smokey the Bear has now committed to 2 nights of balloon glow. It's just going to be a heck of a fun time. Mogian will be performing to open the event, and so we're excited. This is going to be a great year. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Keith. That being said, our business is concluded tonight.